These are some interesting thoughts that keep me up at night sometimes. But first, I think I should probably introduce myself. I go by Equestria Guy. I like to talk about different things like movies and animation, which I'm a huge fan of. Animation, I mean. I think animation is really cool and a fantastic form of media for storytelling. But today I want to talk about the thoughts that occur to me and that keep me awake at night and even give me a certain sense of strange anxiety. Let's begin with time travel. Back in time. Before the general theory of relativity by Albert Einstein, most scientists were inclined to believe that time is a static matter. Time doesn't change wherever you are and flows the same way for everybody in the universe. Scientists didn't think of time as another dimension. However, the theory of relativity proved that time is just another dimension like length, breadth, height, and that our universe is in fact four-dimensional. Which means time is not a static thing and can change depending on many factors, such as gravity and speed. You probably watched Interstellar. The movie is not really scientifically accurate, but it gives a pretty good idea about time dilation. 1 hour passes on the planet orbiting the black hole, and 7 years pass on Earth. That's because of the black hole's enormous mass and how much it distorts space-time. Speed also affects time, obviously. The faster your velocity is, the slower time flows for you. For example, you travel in space with a speed very close to the speed of light. You travel for about 5 years, but when you come back to Earth, you find out that 15,000 years passed on Earth, and human civilization probably is not a thing anymore. As we know, there is nothing that moves faster than photons of light in the universe. The speed of light is 299,792,458 meters per second. The photons of light do not experience time. Time is practically frozen for them. Time is like an arrow or like a spear that constantly moves forward in one direction. Nothing can travel faster than light. The only thing that is theoretically faster is the expansion of the universe. The other night I was thinking, if we can somehow exceed the speed of light, which is not scientifically possible to even reach the speed of light for any object with a mass, of course, but let's just imagine, can the arrow of time go backwards? Can we go back in time this way? What if we move twice as fast as light? What will we find at the end of our journey? Will we find dinosaurs roaming the land? Maybe we'll swim with sea scorpions. Who knows? This is all very fascinating and also rather scary to ponder over. Sometimes, especially after watching or reading something scary, I cannot sleep at night. Because of the dark, it frightens me. Essentially, the fear of the dark, which is called nyctophobia, is our primal instinct, the fear of the unknown, that evolution gifted us so we would avoid potentially dangerous places where unknown predators can lurk. And thalassophobia, which is an intense fear of the depth, is essentially the same fear of the unknown. When we see a dark room or a dark attic, especially in our own home, we know that there is nothing dangerous or scary lurking there, most likely. But we still experience at least slightest feeling of uneasiness, because we don't see. It's dark. Our primal instincts warn us of a potential danger that might be there. And fear of the depth works the same way. There are hundreds or even thousands of meters of water below us. We can't see what's down there. We don't know what's down there. It's a big unknown. Thus it is so scary to be in the open ocean. The same way it is so scary to stay on the doorstep of a dark room. Our primal instincts start working. The ocean is very scary indeed. The average ocean depth is 3,688 meters, or about 12,100 feet, which is a lot obviously, because 80% of the world's ocean is still unexplored. We have a more detailed map of the surface of Mars than of the bottom of the ocean. At 200 meters below the surface of the water, the so-called twilight zone starts. Light is very dim down there. At 1000 meters this twilight zone ends. Below 1000 meters there is absolute nightmarish darkness, where otherworldly creatures dwell. We see the light of stars from trillions of kilometers, but there is no light just 1000 meters below the surface of the ocean. Let's talk about space now. The distance between Earth and Mars is 75 million kilometers, when they are on the same side from the Sun. When they are on the opposite sides, the distance becomes 375 million kilometers. The shortest distance possible is 54.6 million kilometers. That's because the orbits of planets are not round but rather elliptic. 54 million kilometers. If you turn on a gigantic flashlight and direct the beam towards Mars, another person on Mars will see the flash of light in 182 seconds, which is about 3 minutes. I already mentioned that the speed of light is whopping 299,792 kilometers per second. The sunlight reaches Earth in 496 seconds, a little over 8 minutes. The distance between the Sun and Earth is approximately 150 million kilometers. It's called 1 astronomical unit. The light of our star spends a little over 3 minutes to reach the closest planet, which is Mercury. It takes 12.5 minutes to get to Mars, 42 minutes to reach Jupiter, the biggest planet in the solar system. But in order to reach the farthest planet from the Sun, which is Neptune, the photons of the sunlight spent 250 minutes. That's over 4 hours of time. A very significant distance. 30 astronomical units. Which means that Neptune on average is 30 times farther from the Sun than Earth. If you were on the Light Express traveling from the Sun to Neptune, you'd probably occupy yourself by watching the director's cut of The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, which is exactly 250 minutes without ending credits. But don't skip credits, the song is pretty emotional. It takes 4 hours for light or radio waves from Earth to reach Neptune, but it took Voyager 2 12 long years to reach Neptune. It was launched on August 20, 1977. The closest approach with Neptune was on August 25, 1989. Speaking of Voyagers, Voyager 1 is the farthest from the Earth object made by humans. Currently the distance between the Earth and Voyager 1 is about 24 billion kilometers, or 135 astronomical units. The velocity of Voyager 1 is almost 17 kilometers per second. While I was saying the last sentence, Voyager 1 covered another 50 kilometers, or 31 miles. You will spend about 50 minutes on a car to cover this distance, and it took just 3 seconds for Voyager 1. It is so far away that the signal from Voyager 1 takes over 17 hours to reach NASA. Voyagers contain golden records, which have different images in music. Images of planet, human beings, the coordinates of the Earth. Almost 2 hours of music from all around the world. From classical music to chants by indigenous Americans. But my 2 favorite songs are Johnny B. Good by Chuck Berry and Dark Was the Night, Cold Was the Ground by Blind Willie Johnson. Willie Johnson was a blind bluesman born in 1897 in a small town of Pendleton, Texas. He wasn't born blind. Most biographers agree that he lost his sight at the age of 7, when his stepmother splashed Willie with live water, which made him blind. She did so after Willie's father beat her for infidelity. I cannot play these songs here because of copyright claims. Aliens who find the Voyagers will be able to use Chuck Berry's music without problems with the copyright system, while I cannot do this on Earth. This is called capitalism. Voyager 1 is 24 billion kilometers away from Earth, but the estimated net worth of the richest person in the world, Elon Musk, is 250 billion US dollars. The richest 1% owns nearly half of all the wealth on Earth, 50% for just 1% of people. While the poorest half of the population, which I belong to of course, owns about 0.75%. Distance between the Sun and Uranus is 2.8 billion kilometers, while 2.3 billion people on Earth face dangerous food insecurity, and 193 million people suffer from acute hunger. The distance between planets is not increasing, but the number of starving people is increasing every single year. My family never experienced hunger, but my father earns only around $6,000 a year. This is how much money Cristiano Ronaldo earns in 12 minutes in Saudi Arabia. In less than a day, Ronaldo can afford his son 4 years in Harvard University. The cost of attendance is almost $80,000 per year, which is higher than an average American earns in a year. The average yearly income globally is $12,000. Currently, the poorest country in the world is Burundi, with an average annual income of $840. This money Ronaldo can earn in 2 minutes by just sitting around and looking for a YouTube video to watch. Well, the world is not a fair place, is it? So let's get back to space instead. The current speed of Voyager 1 is 17 kilometers per second. With such velocity, Voyager covers 536 million kilometers per year. If Voyager 1 was launched the same year as Julius Caesar was murdered, 44 before Christmas, it would have traveled 1,108,105,511,811 kilometers, which is 7,387 astronomical units. A light year is 63,241 astronomical units. A simple calculation says that Voyager 1 would cover 1 light year in 17,665 years with current velocity. The nearest star to our Sun is Proxima Centauri, 4.24 light years away. Voyager 1 would have to spend 74,899 years to reach it. The diameter of the Milky Way galaxy is about 100,000 light years. How many years would it take for Voyager to cross it entirely? Are you ready? This is how many years. 1,766,485,849 years. Okay, I think that's enough for today. This video was 768 seconds long. While you were watching this video, Voyager 1 traveled another 13,056 kilometers. And sadly, 220 people died of hunger. Anyway, see you again on this channel.